Welcome into the Business on Purpose platform. Scott Beebe here, and as always, you might be joining us from a number of different channels. Again, you can connect with us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, or connect with me personally on LinkedIn. We'd love to see you there. And also, this broadcast initially comes out on Facebook Live, but you can also grab it on our Business on Purpose podcast. Yeah, there it is right there. I forget what you call those things where it makes a cartoon of your image, but caricature, that's what it is. You can check this out on the Business on Purpose podcast. Hey, now's about that time of year when owners and key leaders start to stress a little bit, and they start to think, oh my gosh, I need a plan for next year. Well, you're right, you do. But what about last year's plan? Did it work? Did you stick to it? Do goals and plans even work in general? Through our in-depth research here at Business on Purpose, we've uncovered the secret in what plans and goal-setting tools actually work and which ones do not. But I'm going to give you a cliffhanger. You're going to have to wait. Stay tuned, and I'm going to answer that in just a minute. But first, we've got to ask ourselves, why do we need a goal-setting plan in the first place? And so what I thought I would tell you is a story of two boats. That's right, a story of two boats, a simple story of two boats. It's a story where both boats were planning to leave the safe harbor of Fort Lauderdale with their destination or their vision set on Marsh Harbor in the Bahamas. And if you've never been there, I haven't either. I've heard it's gorgeous. And so one boat arrived safely in Marsh Harbor the same afternoon they actually departed Fort Lauderdale. The other boat, however, was lost at sea. They were frustrated, and they were cursing God for not blessing them with safe arrival. And so we feel pity immediately on this boat that got lost out at sea. And when we dig a little deeper, we find that some helpful information would have been useful to learn about both of the boats' situation. So the first boat that arrived safely did so in a little different way than the second boat that did not arrive safely. And so the first boat had spent 2 weeks preparing for the trip with a simple written checklist on a simple sheet of notebook paper. And so they walked through it, and they started to ask themselves, fuel, check. GPS, check. Fresh batteries, check. Food, check. Water, check. Weather. Well, they checked in. They realized, okay, this is a good time. And safety equipment, check. Now, the other boat decided to go to Marsh Harbor on a whim. So their checklist looks something like this. Fuel, not enough. GPS, broken, but we'll be okay. Fresh batteries, no, they're kind of drained, but we shouldn't have to start up. Food, we've got some crackers. Water, we got a couple of water bottles, so I think we should be good to go. Weather, no need to check, we've done this 100 times. And safety equipment, had a child's life vest and a whistle. The people in the second boat were eventually rescued by a charter fishing boat, and their crew was brought safely back to the coast of Florida, but their boat was badly damaged. And upon return, the captain of the mishappened boat talked with disdain and talked with jealousy about the other boat that had safely made it to Marsh Harbor in the Bahamas without incident. And the boat captain was using language that made it sound like the successfully arrived boat was lucky. Meanwhile, the shattered and unprepared boat captain continued to tell these harrowing sea stories at the local watering hole about the time he made it back to shore after he'd been beaten with the wind and the waves, and he had to endure dehydration and a lack of food and life jackets and on and on and on, and he was telling this story as if he was a hero. Business owners can sometimes confuse unpreparedness with a lack of planning, with unforeseen persecution and suffering. And so we think, we're being persecuted, we're being bent under this suffering. And they'll tell other people things like, well, the market was against me, or employees are impossible. We hear that one a lot. Or maybe they'll say something like, I could never catch a break. And in reality, what they meant to say was, I was unprepared. I was unprepared. Here's the easiest preparation tool we've found. I just put it up there. It's Brian Moran's 12-week year. It's the simplest goal planning tool that we have found, and we've adapted his principles into a simple 12-week plan tool that every one of our heroic small business owners uses and refreshes every 12 weeks. But here's why it works. Here's the 3 reasons that I've kind of pulled out that it works so well and why you should begin on Thursday, December 19th, 2019. That's actually the day that we do our 12-week plan live event. And you should start on that day, whether you can join us or not. You can do this in the comfort of your own business and your own town, wherever you might be. But there's 3 things that I found that are extremely helpful with Brian Moran's 12-week year concept. Number 1, 12 months is simply too long. With a 12-month plan, we get to April and we think, well, we haven't done anything with our 12-month plan, but we still have 9 months. And then we get to July and we think, well, we haven't done anything with our 12-month plan, but hey, we still have 6 months. Then we get to October and we think, well, we haven't done anything with our 12-week plan, and we huff in frustration because clearly it's somebody else's fault, right? And we say, well, we haven't done anything with our 12-month plan. You know what? We only have 3 months to the beginning of the next year, so let's scrap that plan and let's just do the next one next year. And the cycle repeats itself off into the sunset of insanity. The second reason we've seen it work so well is because it only allows for 3 goals. Moran defines goals simply as outcomes. In other words, what are the 3 major outcomes you hope to achieve over the next 12 months? In fact, if I were to ask you right now, drill it down to 2 or 3. What are those major outcomes that you want to achieve over the next 12 weeks? Is it to, quote, clean up your bookkeeping or finalize a hiring process, write an org chart? Perfect. Whatever it is, it's okay for the goal to be broad. I know it feels like a total violation of the SMART goal process, right? Specific, measurable, actionable, etc. But that's okay. Just stay tuned because I'm going to tell you why those broad goals are actually pretty helpful. And then the third thing that we find out in Brian Moran's 12-week year is that it actually allows for unlimited tactics. So it's an unlimited number of tactics, or as Moran calls it, actions. In other words, if your goal is to finalize a hiring process, then your list of tactics may look something like this here. Set a time to define our mission and core values. Define our mission and core values. Set a time to finalize our org chart so we know what roles exist. Finalize our org chart. So this literally may look like what your action list looks like. And so it's simple. You've got 12 weeks, 3 goals, and unlimited action steps. So what's the secret of finding a goal planning tool or goal setting plan tool that works? Well, you just implement it. That's it. Just do it. That's what we found. That's the secret to making a goal setting plan work, is that you actually do the work. So you make time on your calendar, you get out a sheet of paper, and you implement. And then you create a line item in your weekly team meeting agenda for each person to review their progress to their 12-week plan so you can track their progress to the Marsh Harbor or whatever your Marsh Harbor might be. And so that's really it. You get out a sheet of paper, write down 3 goals. Under each one of those goals, you write out an unlimited number of actions. And by default, once you've done all those actions, then the goal's complete. That's how you can define whether or not your goal's done. That's why it can be broad. It doesn't have to be one of those SMART goals. You're using your actions list as a means of making it smart. So, what about the ones who don't implement? They will likely be the ones griping and complaining about how they braved the elements and yet were left in a hopeless goal of reaching their vision. In other words, they were unlucky. Well, the reality is I'm not sure if they're a good fit for what you're building anyway. Hey, by the way, we host our next 12-week plan live event. We'd love, if you're relatively local, we have people come in from about 100 to 200 miles out. But if you're relatively local, on December 19, 2019 at 9 a.m. Here in Bluffton, South Carolina, you can go to this link right here, bit.ly/BOP, the number 12 week DEC for December. So bit.ly/BOP12 week DEC for December. And you can go log in there and you'll have access to not only bring yourself, but also to bring your team. And for this December, we're doing something really special in that we've got a lunch that we're doing as well. It's going to be a really special time for you and your team for this holiday lunch at the 12-week plan live event. We're always delighted to be a part of what it is that you're building. And by the way, if you need help, just go to freedom.mybusinessonpurpose.com, and we've got our entire coaching platform there for you as a small business owner, not only for you, but for your team as well, to drive them through. You can get started for free if you'd like. You can download our vision story straight from our website at mybusinessonpurpose.com, or I've got my book there as well. You can go check it out. Let Your Business Burn. Stop putting out fires, discover purpose, and build a business that matters. Hey, that's all for us this week. Don't be that guy at the watering hole complaining and griping about how you're unlucky. No, put in the work. Now, will bad things happen sometimes? Yeah, of course they will. But it's better to be prepared when those things go south than to be unprepared and blame it on luck or unlucky or that guy was lucky or that lady was lucky or whatever. No, we don't live by that. We live by preparation, and we go into the unknown and into the sea of the unknown with preparedness. All right, so go check us out, mybusinessonpurpose.com. We'll see you next time right here on the Business on Purpose podcast, our YouTube channel, and you can connect with us on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great week, everybody.